When I was 16 during my junior year of high school, my schedule consisted of 9 class periods. Lunch fell during the fifth period, right before my astronomy class, which took place in one of the school's two basement classrooms. The school was quite large, spanning 3 floors, yet it still needed the extra space in the basement for additional classes. This area had previously served as a janitorial space, and even after renovations, it had a slightly unsettling atmosphere when empty. There were no intercoms or loudspeakers down there, meaning that first period classes were never held in the basement because we wouldn't be able to hear the morning announcements. Students referred to this tucked away area as the chamber, and many hoped to have classes there since it was air conditioned and often easier. Plus, it featured its own bathroom. On the day of a quiz in astronomy, I typically finished early because I found the subject straightforward. Once I completed the quiz, I texted my friend in the other basement class to meet me in the bathroom out of boredom. He agreed, and soon after, JJ arrived. We were joking around when he checked his phone and mentioned receiving a text about a school lockdown. We exchanged mischievous grins. Neither of our teachers had noticed we were gone. We decided to sneak upstairs to explore the hallways for the thrill of it. If questioned, we could just say we didn't hear the announcements from the basement. When we opened the door to the main level, we were surprised to see the lights turned off. The hallways were almost completely dark, lit only by the glow coming from the lobby doors. This was unusual. Usually the lights remained on during lockdowns. Something felt off, and we hesitated. JJ ventured further into the corridor, and I followed. He suddenly pointed and asked, "Who's that?" Emerging from the shadows was a man. At first we couldn't determine if he was a teacher, but as he got closer, it became clear he wasn't dressed like any staff member. He appeared disheveled, and I urged JJ, "Let's go," as we hurried back to the basement. The doors to both classrooms were closed and dark, so we decided to hide in the bathroom to avoid being seen. I immediately turned off the light, and we huddled in the corner stall, enveloped in silence. No ventilation or sounds apart from our breathing and the occasional drip from the sink. Suddenly, the bathroom door creaked open, and light flooded in for a brief moment before it closed again, plunging us into darkness. We strained to listen as footsteps approached, followed by heavy breathing. Panic set in. JJ suggested we crawl out through the other stalls. Even in whispers, we knew we had to be quiet. Just then, the heavy breathing paused, and someone pressed against the stall door. I whispered urgently to JJ, "Go!" We crawled under the stall wall, quickly moving to the next stall and then to the last one. The man started banging on the stall door. We quickly stood up, opened the door, and light filled the room again, revealing the man from upstairs in the corner. We rushed to knock on the door of JJ's class, and the teacher let us in almost instantly. JJ hurriedly explained what had happened, mentioning a gun sticking out of the man's pocket. I hadn't seen a gun, but I went along with it. Normally, students would have laughed at such a scene, but the other kids looked genuinely concerned. A loud bang on the door made everyone jump, and a couple of girls squealed in fear. The teacher, JJ, and I saw the man standing at the door, trying the doorknob and peering through the window. After several more bangs, he turned and walked away. We sat in the classroom in tense silence for over an hour, with the teacher occasionally asking us questions, shaking his head in disbelief at our story. Eventually, someone from upstairs called for the teacher, and we were instructed to line up and exit the building where police were waiting. JJ and I did our best to describe the man to the officers and the dean. One of the cops gave me a reassuring pat on the back, and we were sent home. In the aftermath, the school installed security cameras and increased its security budget. This incident never made the news, so we never found out if they caught the guy. I still believe he intended to harm us in that bathroom stall. Years later, as a retired New Jersey police officer, I received one of my most disturbing calls during my 20 years on the force: a lockdown at a nearby middle school. It was a dark, stormy day when my unit was dispatched to respond to a suspicious man seen leaving a white van parked behind the school and entering through the boys' locker room. Upon arriving, I found the van empty, with all doors locked. I entered through the back door, flashlight in hand, into a dimly lit school. A woman from the front office approached me, urging me to check the boys' locker room while warning that the individual might be armed. I called for backup, reassured that help was on the way. As I approached the boys' locker room, the unsettling quiet was interrupted by faint scratching noises from inside. I needed to announce my presence as an officer, but I hesitated, feeling the tension in the air. Just as I finally shouted, "Police!" a voice from within cried for help. A kid was trapped inside a locker, and my heart sank. I told him I'd be back and rushed to alert the backup about the situation. When I returned to the locker room, I discovered the boy had been held at knife point. He had managed to resist and was bleeding from a cut on his arm. A week later, police apprehended the man after spotting his van at a convenience store. While visiting Rowan University, I stayed at a Hampton Inn alone, planning to explore the campus further the next day. After a meal, I returned to my room around 8 p.m. Not long after, a strange alarm blared, and a message began repeating, advising all guests to stay in their rooms due to a lockdown. Intrigued rather than frightened, I switched on the TV while preparing for bed. Around 9:30 p.m., as the alarm continued, the phone rang. It was someone from the front desk, speaking urgently and instructing me to leave my room immediately. I asked what was happening, and she warned me that someone was inside my room. Panic surged as I checked everywhere, under the bed, the bathroom, but found nothing. My eyes fell on the closet, slightly ajar. When I saw a face peering through the crack, my heart raced and I bolted out the door. At the front desk, the staff showed me security footage of a suspicious man roaming the halls. He had used a key card to enter my room and had been lurking in my closet. The authorities took him away in handcuffs, and as he passed, he locked eyes with me, leaving me chilled at the thought that he might have been watching me for over an hour.